Now, I've heard that Japan is the place where you find, I've heard, the best toys, or at least people who've gone over there and gone to the shops over there. That's what they usually tell me. And after getting this gift box over here from my good friend, I think I'm inclined to agree. Now, I've only got a bit of an idea of what's in here. It showed up opened, and I'll get into that story here momentarily, but I'm really excited to take a closer look at what's in here. So my brother went over to Japan for a trip, and it turns out one of my friends, Phil from Treasures for Trigger, you've seen him on the channel here before. He's done some collaborations with me. He happens to live there. He managed to pass by the hotel where my brother was staying, and he handed him this box. And Phil and I, we've exchanged gifts before in the past, but this one's ultra special for a few reasons, and not the least of which is the fact that he put a nice little note in the box here. And I know it's a personal note, and Phil, hope you don't mind, I'm gonna read this out loud to the camera. So it says here, "Hey Ken, I'm stoked to be able to help you add to your Dino-Riders collection." So we already know a little bit about what's in there. It says here, especially with the great history video that you did last year. So in the fall of 2024, I asked Phil, as well as my friends Oz from Ozstradamus Toyz and Adam from Highly Articulated, to come along and do a Dino-Riders history video with me. And it was well received, and I absolutely adore what those guys did, all the parts that they, all the different facets of the franchise they were able to discuss and to share their experiences and all that. So the letter carries on. A couple of TMNT figures too, including your underrated figure from the Streamathon stream a couple of years ago, if you remember your pick. I actually don't remember, but I am going to look that clip up before we move on here in a moment.
That's my feel on General Trey.
Have you got the vintage figure as well, Ken?
No, no.
And he says here, anyway, mate, thanks for the friendship and the fun we've had in the Toy 2 world. Cheers, Phil. Hey, buddy, I just want to say thank you for always being a good man and for what you've gotten here. So let's dive into the box and take a closer look. So getting into the box here right away, because we already know from the earlier clip that it's in here, Phil, with his amazing memory, remembered that the General Treg was somebody who I said was a bit underrated for the Ninja Turtles franchise. And I think what it is I just liked the rock soldiers in the TMNT cartoon back in the day. And I did note on that stream that, you know, he doesn't look like he does in the cartoon, but maybe that's part of the charm with some of these figures. And, you know, for the longest time, I didn't realize that this arm for General Treg was articulated. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention before, but it's cool that he has an extra point of articulation there. And wow, Phil, you know that I've been getting a little bit back into TMNT. I definitely loved TMNT as a kid, and now that I've gotten into some of them and I picked up some of the villains at some of the recent toy shows that are in my area, General Treg will definitely be a great addition into the collection. And interestingly, Phil, unless I told him, but I don't think I did, maybe it's just intuition, this is Fugitoid. And Fugitoid is actually one of the toys that I had as a kid. So the fact that, you know, Phil has managed to add this to his gift box here, this is awesome. So my TMNT love, if it wasn't reignited before, it definitely is now. Now, Phil and I obviously, you know, we've talked a lot about Dino-Riders. He helped get me into the line, and he did ask me, you know, hey, would I mind if I got a toy with a tail that is broken, just as a starter one? So I figured that the Deinonychus was going to be the one that was coming. So it looks like this is the Rulons, the villain version of the Deinonychus, because I know that there was a good guy version and a bad guy version. So this is the Rulon one, not the Valorian version. And I did look earlier, and this, I guess, is Antor. So that makes sense, because then Antor would be the driver or the pilot, or the rider, I should say, that goes with the Rulon Deinonychus. So that's cool. Like, he's managed to match the rider with the dinosaur itself, which is pretty cool. And it looks like in here he's added some of the hard to find accessories. So here's the ladder
that goes on. And he's got the other one too. Okay, I'll get to that momentarily. But he's got the ladder and some of the hard to find small red accessories that I can see in the bag here, along with some other Dino-Riders goodies. So, wow. Okay, so it's not like he just sent the figures, he sent some of the hard to find accessories as well. So it gets me that much closer to being complete. And I got some friends who have some accessories here in Canada, so I'll be sending a few messages out to say, hey, help me complete my Antor and Dino-Rider set. Phil, you've definitely outdone yourself here. I always appreciate your friendship, man. And as far as the villains or the Rulons are concerned, and is there another red accessory? Yes, there is. There's another red accessory in here as well. That's awesome. That's the fun part about going through a box like this. You know, I don't get a lot of time to prep before. I don't need to script myself. I can just kind of get the more or less real-time reactions. I say more or less because I had an idea of what Phil was going to send, but I didn't know firmly what was going to be in the box. But I did not know he was going to be sending Rasp. And Rasp is one of the Dino-Riders who is one of the main villains in the show. Like, you have Krulos, the main bad guy, and then you have Rasp, who's kind of like the Starscream to the Megatron. Rasp is very much that character to Krulos during the series, and he's always the one that Krulos is trying to... he keeps him around, but he doesn't really trust him. Let's put it that way. Now, here's the one that Phil hugely surprised me with. Like, he said nothing about this one coming whatsoever, so I didn't have much indication at all. I just knew that there might be an extra Dino-Rider in there. And this is, I guess, the Pterodactyl. Now, this is cool because he's also included the other rider, or I guess the rider that goes with the Pterodactyl, which would be Lad. And I recall Phil saying on our collaboration video that Lad was one of the characters he was a very big fan of in the series.
Personally, I was a fan of Youngstar and Lard. So they were the younger two guys, and they would get themselves into a bit of mischief. They would sort of run off into the jungle or into harm's way, basically. They would run across a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and so they would often be the guys that would need rescuing.
Now, I believe Lad came in two versions. I think he came in an adult version as well as a kid version, and this at least looks like it's the kid version. So I'm not a huge expert on Dino-Riders. That may change over the coming years, but at least now I've got a little bit more of an introduction into them. And he's added some of the other accessories as well, so this is very cool. Oh wow, he's added a bunch. So he's added these other accessories in here, and he's also added this frame of sorts, and he's protected this one in bubble wrap because I guess he knew that this had a risk of potentially being damaged in transit. And he's added this as well as the ladder. So he's got this thing with a bunch of accessories, and before I forget, he's even added some of the bombs that go on here. So I'm gonna get the box out of the way and go to either Transformerland or DinoRidersWorld.com and have a look at how to assemble this thing, because this one looks like it's closer to complete. This is quite the gift, because if you compare what Phil has given me here with the Pterodactyl and Lad, it's not too far off from what a complete set looks like, just having a look at this a little bit more closely. Looking around, this is the way that Lad is supposed to be when he's flying, and you can kind of see that the frame tabs in over there on the Pterodactyl, so that's very cool. You got the bombs on the side here. Now, Lad isn't necessarily super stable on this, or maybe I just need a bit more practice getting his hands to hold on to the glider properly. But what's cool is that with all these pieces here, if I counted it correctly from some of the sites, he's supposed to have something like 9 accessories, and Phil has sent 7 of them, so this is quite close to complete. So this automatically becomes probably the most precious and the best Dino-Riders item in my collection. So definitely a huge thanks and a huge shout out to Phil for this. Well, looking at all this, I'm quite thrilled, and man, even just seeing these accessories here, I'm quite grateful for the friendships that we've made here on the internet. And hopefully Phil will get to meet you in person one day, because this right here has absolutely made my week, made my weekend. And hopefully I'll get this uploaded for all of you to see just what a wonderful gift box this ended up being.
Anyway, if you happen to like this video, you can have a look at the Dino-Riders history video collaboration that we did right over here. Or to have a look at a toy hunt and have a look at some other toys, you can have a look at this other video right over here. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time. Take care.